Everybody, welcome to night 5, the final night.
Investigation results
Yeah,
unsatisfactory.
this audio belongs to Odd Header, 10 strangest unsolved mysteries, and 10 strangest unsolved video game discoveries part 5, so it doesn't belong to me.
What are you still doing here? Listen, please don't feel like you're forced to finish this week. Get out of there. It's for your own good. You know what? Scratch that. It would probably be more safe in the office. Just hang tight and finish your night, and then finally get the heck out of there. Good luck.
So about that.
Perhaps even a way to see what exactly the criminals were intending to do with these robot ladies in the first place. For strictly research purposes, we're going to need that code. Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars. Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars is one of my favorite games. A point-and-click released in 1996 on PC where American George Stobar explores Europe to solve a murder that the police refuse to investigate. Also released in 2002 on the Game Boy Advance. At one point in the game, George comes upon a hidden chamber under the streets of Paris. On both the PC and the Game Boy Advance, the scene for the most part is the same. However, on the Game Boy Advance re-release, when you walk George to the end of this platform, the game suddenly transitions without prompting to an area that didn't appear in the original game that houses an ominous door with a skull on it. When you first interact with the door, George says, "I pushed against the door, but it seemed to be locked." And by examining it, he says the door was a handsome piece of work. By examining the door a second time, George will say something that he will never say again. There, in the middle of the door, I can see some kind of socket. And no matter what item you use on the door after, the door just remains locked forever. Unless, of course, somebody finds out there really is something special that you can stick inside the mouth of the skull. Yeah, that sounds weird. Assassin's Creed 2. Thanks to Lovecraft on my Discord server for submitting me this unsolved discovery.
Sorry,
Although the series
but,
has a fair
is this
amount of
recording?
cryptic and enigmatic, one discovery in Assassin's Creed 2 has been shrouded in mystery.
Oh crap, oh god.
The series released many titles since. At one point in the game, the player can uncover
What's up, dude?
underneath the Santa Maria della Vista church.
Yeah, well, I'm recording. Can you close the door?
However, right at the start of the area, instead of completing the obstacles, if the player were to stand in a really specific spot for an extended period of time on the ledge, some insist you have to pull this lever, although it's confirmed that this is not always the case. In fact, many just continuously restart the game until this finally happens. As underneath the water, they can see what appears to be a giant squid swim by with a strange glowing eye, not unlike the artifacts that glow in the game. Furthermore, if the player were to stand here for an even longer period of time, the tentacle would eventually rise above the water with the
I didn't check the
absence
thing.
of sound, leading many to believe that this may be something that wasn't properly implemented or even meant to be found at all. However, a reference to the event seems to appear in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, as the only other giant squid that appears in the series can be found as another Easter egg by returning to the Antosha shipwreck and when you look through this hole in the vessel, you can spot a giant squid eerily kill a white whale. While the Assassin's Creed community is already at odds about what exactly incites the giant squids in the series, many are skeptical that what appears in Assassin's Creed 2 is actually a giant squid at all, as its head appears to be more like that of an octopus, though Assassin's Creed Syndicate may hold a clue to it being something entirely different. As in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you can obtain brass knuckles in the shapes of tentacles or suction cups, known as the Great Old One's Caress. The Great Old Ones being a such as the Cthulhu from his story, which so happens to be creatures described
It would
as
probably be more safe in the office. Just hang tight and finish the night, and then finally get the heck out of
which
there.
is essentially
Good
an
luck.
octopus monster from Scandinavian folklore. Until someone manages to actually give us a good look at this thing, what exactly it is and what its relationship is to the Assassin's Creed story may just be a mystery that remains beneath the depths of this dark, murky water until it finally emerges in time.
Anyway.
Mankind divided. Thanks to Zoe, the author, for joining us for the Otter website Discord. At one point in the 2016 installment of the popular series protagonist Adam Jensen has the choice to rob a bank or confront the bombmaker to advance the story. If the player chooses to do the things, they end up in the townside property bank. Once inside, Jensen can enter a vault in Reverse Life, a company led by Bob Page, a series antagonist who's part of the Illuminati, where they can find a bunch of shady Illuminati stuff and documents about the mysterious patient acts. After players collect their random goodies inside, they normally tend to leave the area and not think any further about the vault for the rest of the game. However, more observant players notice they would switch over Jensen's
How the frick did you get here? You over there?
the random boxes in the corner room can be found the upper half of a body in a box. Getting on top of the box, you can notice that the viewing panel is suspiciously iced over, making it impossible to see revealing what appears to be protagonist Adam Jensen at base himself. Many believe this means that the Adam Jensen you're playing as in the game may be a clone, as at the beginning of the game, Jensen has recovered from a facility called Penche from the previous game that was destroyed in the ocean. But the game never goes into any detail about how he was recovered, only that he was sent to a black site facility to be studied and identified before he was released. With the addition of what appears to be other recovered objects,
if I can't beat it this time, I'll try to beat it maybe next week.
And that what you're looking at in the box is Jensen's original body. However, other players have a number of issues with this idea, primarily being that Deus Ex Mankind is a prequel to the earlier titles, and the ability to clone in a short period of time, aka flash cloning, does not be possible until the 2050s, even though this game takes place in 2029. Some have speculated that perhaps the cloning process began long ago, and that the Jensen you play in the game is all of the games is just one of many clones created by Versailles, possibly leading to a bigger twist the series will eventually reveal, though some fans believe this is a possible but too far-fetched explanation with severe lack of evidence beyond this single discovery. Another popular theory is that the body in the box is the clone, though when Jensen was recovered at the black site, a failed attempt was made at cloning, which is what you see here. There's also the fairly popular theory that the Jensen model is a scrap model for another intended purpose, and ended up slipped into the box by the developers to have the appearance of a random force-out container, which while that still could be the case, it certainly doesn't help the theory that the body container and the game files are called Jensen Versalite Body and Jensen Versalite Crate. With all of these theories on the table, this singular discovery opens up a whole can of worms, leaving many such as myself still ripping my hair out over which one it's actually supposed to be. Of course, I wouldn't want any of you to end up in a similar predicament, which is why I recommend checking out Keith for strengthening your hair.
What are we doing?
A teaser.
We're doing a teaser for the commercial.
Yeah.
We're teasing commercials now?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Right, like a movie trailer.
Yeah, but I mean the commercial's incredibly short.
Oh yeah, this ad doesn't belong to me.
Sometimes work hard to beat a video game. All you see is
Sonic isn't sponsoring this.
Wait, what? Only to find out there's apparently another ending to the game that made you go, no. This is why they were diving into 7 of the most unbelievable alternate endings in video games. Brought to you by Privacy.com, a safer way to buy online using virtual payment cards. Use Privacy.com/header down below to save $5 on your first purchase. Wanted. Weapons of Fate. Wanted Weapons of Fate is a third-person shooter based on the 2008 Angelina Jolie action film Wanted, with unfortunately no Angelina. As the protagonist Wesley lives a new life in a fraternity of bullet-curving assassins. The game pretty closely follows the movie's action tone with cover-based combat, though a certain ending makes quite a departure from anything that's in the movie. In all console releases of Weapons of Fate, the game ends rather expectedly with Wesley hunting down the game's antagonist, the man with a torn face known as the Immortal, and shoots him square in the face. Simple enough. However, for some reason, the PC version of the game, which is nearly identical in every other way, features some unexpected changes in the final scene. One change that kind of makes sense is the final scene now features the signature bullet-curving gimmick that the movie was well recognized for, as the bullet's trajectory curves right past the Immortal's face, barely missing it. And in a change that makes a lot less sense, Wesley whips out a different kind of pistol and gives the Immortal a golden shower. Okay then, what a great reward for beating this game. Drawn to Life, the next chapter. Drawn to Life is a bright and cheery platformer series that was fairly popular with children in the late 2000s, where the player could draw their own hero in any object of their mind's desire that could be used throughout the game to save the hero's village. After the player completes the final mission of Drawn to Life, the next chapter, with each
The gamer shout out?
Sure. The game abruptly shifts focus to a random non-essential character named Mike, who in a completely left-field twist is revealed to have fallen from a tree in our world and dreamed up all the events of the first 2 games in a few minutes that he was knocked out on the ground, before his parents come and check on their uncoordinated son. And as if that twist already didn't feel entirely unnecessary, other players were treated to a much more unfit and darker ending due to the fact that the game was actually censored with a patch that removed it, as in the original ending that could only be found in the game's earliest copies. The completely ridiculous twist remained essentially the same with the whole game being in Mike's head, but it was portrayed in a much more unsettling and creepy realistic manner that really doesn't fit the tone of the game, where Mike is driving home with his family from a carnival and suddenly they get into a car accident. His parents then die from the collision, leaving Mike in a coma with all the events from the first 2 games again taking place in his head. I can only guess whoever was responsible for this nightmare fuel of insanity must have really hated kids, because many across the internet claim the scene traumatized them for years. While the alternate ending
This is it for me. I got no life.
I still can't draw to any conclusions how the hell any of this is supposed to make any sense. Monster Rancher DS. Thanks to Clamont8 for streaming this for a comment in one of my previous videos. Monster Rancher is a popular RPG.
I don't have enough light. I don't even have any.
Although it's typically closer to being a virtual pet simulator than RPG.
Alright, that's gonna do it all for today, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe.